and ready. Hit us with that juicy intro.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mission Accomplished. My name is Michelle.
I'm Garrett. And guess what today is?
I'm wearing a sparkle hat.
Yes, you are. And it is reflecting off our backdrop.
Yeah.
It is quite a
Look,
spectacle.
you can see all the sparkles. Yay!
Moving past that, today we are having a super special episode because in the spirit of October, we're doing spooky episode. Okay, hold on. That might be too much for the audience.
Okay.
We're gonna have spooky episode.
Because here's the thing, guys.
Cute pumpkins, cute bats fluttering across the screen. Madeline, you can do all that.
Okay, so the reason we're doing this...
Dramatic organ. Like Transylvania style?
Yeah.
Cool.
Wah!
Thunder crash. More bats.
I can't do what you're doing.
All right, we gotta stop this.
Okay. All right, so the reason we're doing this episode is because, honestly, we just had to do it.
We're
had
out
to
of
get
ideas.
it done. No. Because the crazy thing is that Garrett actually believes in ghosts. Garrett has had a supernatural experience, and you may hear this story
I've had
and
multiple.
end up believing in ghosts by the end of it.
I've had a few paranormal experiences, and here's my problem. I am not the kind of person that would believe in ghosts. If you would have asked me before this experience, I would have said, believing in ghosts is dumb. They're not real. Doesn't make any sense. I still feel that way to some extent, but here's the problem. I had an experience when I was in college. This sounds like
you did
sounds
LSD.
sexual.
But,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But a ghost experience. I had a ghost experience in college, and I tried to refute it. I tried to prove it wrong in every way possible, and I will go into that in this story. I tried to prove it wrong, and no matter what I did, all my research led me to the truth that the only possible solution was that ghosts exist.
Christ.
So I'm kind of mad because I don't want to believe in ghosts, but I feel like I have to believe in ghosts because of how crazy this thing was. And when I say crazy, I don't mean like I saw a ghost trying to murder me. It was like...
Yeah, you didn't have like a Scrooge experience where the 3 ghosts visited you in 3 consecutive nights or whatever.
That would have been cool. We had something close to that. Not gonna lie. Do you know this full story?
Yes, I know
All
the
right,
full
guys,
story. So the full story, when you originally told me, and I think there was one other person there, it was shortly after we got together, actually, and you told this story. It was me and Tina. Oh my God. It was me and Tina. And we thought this was going to be like a 15-minute story, and it was a 2-hour story. You try to deny that it is, but it is a 2-hour story. So I have begged and pleaded because I got to be somewhere in an hour. So does everyone listening
Everyone
to this.
wants to hear my stories.
But pare it down. Let's get right into the meat of it. But this is a very intense, detailed story. There are receipts, guys. There's
we have video evidence.
Video
of everything.
evidence.
I don't have it for you on the podcast,
which
because
sounds super sketchy.
I mean, I know everyone's like, I have proof, but we just can't show you the
like
proof.
I saw Bigfoot, but
Well,
it was
here's the thing.
blurry.
I'm gonna ask for the footage. I don't own it. One of my friends from college has the footage. I'm gonna ask him for it. We'll see if we can get it by the time this goes live. If we don't, you won't have it. Sorry. Deal with it.
But by the time you told me that, once we got to the end of hour 2, I was very tired, but I definitely understood. Like, it was definitely, this story freaked me out, and it was very impactful. So I'll give you that, and I'll let you just, okay, guys, I'm going to be interviewing Garrett today. That's what's going to happen. And in case anyone's curious about my perspective on ghosts.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask you, do you believe in ghosts?
Okay, listen. Do I believe in aliens? Sure.
You have to. You have to believe in aliens.
Sure, if the universe is infinite,
aliens have to exist.
Okay, great. So if aliens exist, but people think, when they think of aliens, they think of like beep, bop, beep, alien, green man type thing. And I'm like, aliens could exist in other dimensions or planes and literally be in the same physical space as us, and we don't even know about each other. Like ghosts.
But the idea of that would be, those would be different beings, like extra dimensional beings, not souls of our past, like reaping.
Yeah. Like these beings exist in a dimension that we as humans cannot experience.
So you're saying there could be aliens that
Spirits.
are like ghosts, that are different beings that exist in our plane, or maybe in our world, but on a different plane that we can't see.
Yeah.
Like
now, as far as like someone dies and their spirit is unwell and whatever, I don't really believe in that. Like, I maybe it's just because I haven't had a ghost experience in the way
everyone
you
I've
have.
talked to, it's like, like most people don't believe in ghosts until you have an experience. And then you're like, oh, shit, I guess ghosts are real now. That's terrifying. Like, at least that's what happened to me.
Do you think this house is haunted?
No. Why do you think this house is haunted?
I don't know. I'm just asking if you believe in ghosts. Are there ghosts here? Like,
I have no proof of ghosts here.
Yet. This was a different house before it was this house. Like, this is a new house, but
I don't think there's any ghosts here. I've had nothing weird here happen.
Okay.
What I'm going to talk to you about,
I'm knocking on wood.
Are the
okay,
ghosts
well, let me
at
finish.
my
So the only experience I've had with ghosts has been, so my mom has this really interesting fascination with ghosts and aliens. So she watches
supernatural.
Yeah, so she watches all of those like true life experience stories, like almost like crime procedural recreation shows about aliens, Bigfoot, everything. She has been to Roswell. She has done all of that. And I don't think she actually believes in it, but it's definitely a fascination for her. So anytime I came home from school, my mom was always watching those kinds of shows after like Oprah, you know. So that's my experience with ghosts.
So you're like, nah, no ghosts. Ghosts aren't a thing.
I don't think so. But I don't know.
What do you think? So as of now, someone asked you right now, which was what I'm doing, are ghosts real? What's your answer?
Okay, so like if I die, will I become a ghost?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, are ghosts real? Right now, to you.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, Michelle does not think ghosts are real.
But
I wish that was my answer.
Okay, so start at the beginning.
Ooh, the beginning.
And
Cue
keep in mind
intro music. Spooky.
Ooh.
No, we're gonna add it in post. You don't have to do that. Please stop doing whatever that is.
Okay, so you're in college.
I'm in college. I went to a college university called Point Park University
in Pittsburgh,
Pennsylvania. That's where I went to film school. And at this school...
We know you went to film school. Good.
At this school, there is a story about a boy, or about a fire that happened on a specific floor of this school. Because the school wasn't always a school. It used to be a hotel. So there's a fire in the hotel. Actually, there's 2 different ghosts at this school.
Oh, my God.
This is a whole thing. I know this sounds like BS already, but hold on. Let me gather my thoughts. So before it was a school, it was a hotel. And there were a couple different patrons that existed. And there are 2 different ghosts that exist at this school. Both of which have been checked out by the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. They actually did a news piece on these ghosts. Very interesting. And they
Pittsburgh Paranormal Society.
Yeah. They have like 5,000 likes on Facebook. That's not bad.
Continue. There was a fire.
And I don't know if this kid was... I think the story is that a kid who oh, sorry. The this is a horrible retelling of this story.
Should you look it up?
Madeline, cut some of this out to make me look smarter.
Oh my God.
Can't wait to have that be left in the podcast anyway. No. So what I was going to say is there was a fire, and he worked for the Point Park Gazette or whatever it's called. I forget what they call it. The paper for the school.
Okay. So
And
a student
a student
who was working on the school paper
died in a no, not in. Sorry, he died. Sorry, he was.
We're literally one fact into this story, and you're like,
No.
Oh, I can tell this story.
This is
in 15
real. This is
minutes.
real.
Are
This
you
is
fucking
real.
kidding
This
me?
is real. Okay, a fire happened. He was critically injured. Went to the hospital. Was hospitalized because of it, and then died later in the hospital.
Copy that.
He was a dancer at Point Park. Point Park is known for their dance conservatory. And he worked at the paper. Great. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
So, here's where the story really begins.
Wait, who's the second ghost?
The second ghost is a different story for another episode of the podcast.
Oh my god.
And that is called the Point Park Shuffler, who was an old judge who used to stay at the school before it was a school, when it was a hotel. He used to stay at the hotel, and he used to walk around the halls and shuffle around. Like, he would take nightly strolls to like clear his mind in the middle of the night. And so people hear people walking up and down one of the hallways on one of the abandoned floors of the school, and they hear people walking around, and when they go out to check, no one's there. And what's weird about this is a different ghost story, but when I had my friend stay with me at Point Park for like the weekend, I had some of my high school friends stay. I didn't even tell him about this story, and he said, dude, did you hear like the footsteps up and down the hallway last night? I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Because that's part of the ghost story. And he had no idea of this story, and everything he was saying is exactly what people hear every night. That to me sounds like, oh, freshman hazing, like people do that just to like spook people out because it's funny, right? But I do have another weird story with that.
Okay,
I'll tell that later.
This is the big ass one.
But I'm talking about the big story, which
Big
is
ass.
a kid named Jacob at Point Park who was critically injured in a fire, who died and is now haunting the halls of the university.
Ooh.
No. We don't need that. Don't need it. Oh my God. Sorry to the audio listeners. Here's where the story really begins.
We hear like an old book creak open.
Have fun with sound design on this. No. You don't have to do the sound design because that's post-production. Do you understand that?
We are so not.
People love this. Don't check the time.
Oh my god, we've been talking for 13 minutes. We're nowhere into this ghost story.
Okay, here we go. Ghost story. So, me and my friends. My friend Dylan, my girlfriend at the time, Bethany, and my friend Nathan Canan.
Uh-huh.
And Gordon.
And?
I think that was it for the
Johnny.
first time. Johnny wasn't there at the
Oh, I
beginning.
thought Johnny was there.
It was just me. No. It was just me, Gordon,
Okay,
Bethany.
no one really gives a shit because no one knows who any of these
and
people
Dylan.
are. You and a bunch of people.
Me and 4 people went to make a short film about ghosts. We were just like fucking around with the camera. We're like, let's take a
You
camera.
were like freshmen, right?
Yeah, we're freshmen, and we're like, well, let's take a camera to one of the abandoned floors of Point Park. So because it's like a hotel, imagine like the dorms. It just looks like a hotel, and sometimes a whole floor will just be abandoned because they're doing renovations. Well, this is the floor that apparently this is the floor that the Point Park paper used to be on, and they had his old dance studios in it.
Okay, so this is not, to clarify, where the fire occurred, where the boy died.
No,
It's where he would have
yes,
spent
correct.
his time.
Correct. It's where he spent his time, not where he actually died.
Okay, because we got the paper and
Yes.
some dance studios.
Yes,
and
the fire actually
he
happened at-
participated in both of those activities.
Correct. So here's what gets weird. We didn't know about this kid who died or anything. We didn't know anything about any of this. We were just making a scripted short with our camera. So we go down the middle of the night, just the 4 of us, and we're like, oh, ghost short film. And we're basically like doing a ripoff of Paranormal Activity, right? And during filming, we just kept hearing from the other side, oh, there's no electricity on this floor. So it's pitch black. So we are going in with flashlights and our camera.
And you're not supposed to be there.
No, the doors are usually locked, but they were unlocked for some reason. probably because maintenance forgot to lock them, because they still clean it every once in a while. They forgot to lock them. So we get in. No power to this floor. They must have shut off all the circuits for it. And we keep hearing this noise, this metal clanking coming from down the hall. We'd never been down that far. And we kept capturing it on camera. And we're like, what is that? Because it kept messing up the take. And then it was really funny because us hearing that noise kind of became what our fake short film was about. Like, we incorporated it into that. We're like, oh, wow, that's weird. Why do we keep hearing this noise? But we were like, honestly, just too, like, we psyched ourselves up. We were too afraid to go down there. So we stopped for the night. We stopped filming. We then did some research. Then we looked up. We found out that there was a boy named Jacob who had passed, who used to go to the school, dancer, paper, all that. And we found out that's where he spent all of his time.
So to clarify, you didn't even know there was a ghost.
I didn't know Point Park was haunted other than the Shuffler, which is a different ghost story. So we were like, why are we hearing weird sounds down here? We're like, oh, there's this boy named Jacob, we learned. And we learned this because we looked it up online. We looked up the story and found that the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society also did a story on him. And guess where they did their research? This fucking floor. The same floor we were on, that's where they went to do their study.
And you knew none of this before. None of that.
We just happened to stumble across this because we're like, oh, let's go to the abandoned floor. Crazy, right? Okay, so here's where it continues. The next night we go back. We're like, oh wow, there's actually maybe a ghost here. The Paranormal Pittsburgh Society, Pittsburgh Paranormal Society, PPS found a ghost. We want to talk to this ghost.
Okay,
that sounds
but
fun.
at this point,
let me clarify. I don't.
You're
believe
like,
in ghosts.
whatever. Like, let's talk to this
But
ghost.
I love found footage paranormal movies. I love Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project. I love those types of movies.
Right. So you guys are still in the beginning of the horror film where it's like
before we all die.
Woo,
yeah.
like haunted. Like you're kind of in on the joke.
Yeah, and we're also like self-aware. We're like, oh, it'd be cool to go ghost hunting. Now, it is very important for me to bring up that one of the people we were going with was named Dylan. He's a huge paranormal fanatic, so he does believe in ghosts. He has seen every TV show about ghosts. He knows how to communicate with ghosts. And
he knows how to communicate with
ghosts.
He's
watched shows about people doing that, and he knows the techniques or the protocol, I guess. And then my friend Nathan also went, and we brought him onto it, and he's also really into that kind of stuff. So he's very like, oh, this is how you do it if you're going to do it. There's a protocol. Who knows?
You mean the shit where like you take a picture and you see the orb and that's a ghost?
And we did that. We fucking did that.
Okay, continue.
We have it.
Okay, keep going.
Fucking crazy.
This is ridiculous.
So we go, and
this is night two.
You're
still on the fence.
We're in the hallway, and we're like, let's just stand in the dark. This is like 3 a.m. Stand in the dark and listen to see that noise come back. And the first night we went, the noise only happened between the hours of 2 and 3. So we go back again at the same time. No noise until 2 a.m. starts. The noise happens again.
Exactly at 2 a.m.
Not exactly on the dot, but like the noises start to occur in that hour. After that hour, they go away.
And what's significant about this time?
We never figured that out, but I will tell you why that time is significant to the story.
Okay, continue.
So we keep hearing this noise, and it sounds like this clanging, almost like a marble being dropped in a pipe. So imagine a metal pipe and a marble going all the way down. So we hear that.
Oh my God.
Hear it again. Like almost like a marble dropping down a series of pipes. It's like, okay. We keep hearing that, and we determine it's coming from the bathroom. We're like, okay. We go into the bathroom. Like urinals are ripped out of the walls. It's like the whole place is it's not finished. It looks like they're renovating everything. So it looks really spooky already. And the wall has exposed piping all down the wall. Okay. We all sit on the floor. Complete pitch black darkness. We put a recorder on. We start hitting record. We have a video camera with like the shitty Sony Cam night vision. And we start talking. We're like, hey, if there's any ghosts here, any spirits here, and you want to make yourself aware, make some sort of noise or something, and we wouldn't get anything until we would just, after a while, we would just soak in the experience. We would just sit there for a while
Soak
and
in
wait.
the ghosts.
Soak in the ghosts, man.
What?
Hold on.
You mean you would just wait?
We would just wouldn't say anything. We wouldn't disturb them. We would just not speak and sit. And then after like a 15-minute thing of silence, literally dead silence for 15 straight minutes, Nathan asked, is anybody here with us right now?
Oh my God.
And the sound happened. The marble occurred. And we're like, okay. The chances of that are happening. Like, sure, that could just be random chance. That sound's been happening all night for the past hour or whatever. But it stopped when we entered the room, and it didn't start again until we asked that question and like gave it time. We're like, okay, that's weird. So we stay. We're all terrified at this point. We're like, we psyched ourselves up, and we're all sitting in a circle in pitch black in a bathroom at 3 a.m. We're like, what the fuck are we doing? And then we keep asking questions, and we would get every once in a while. That's the sound effect for the marble sound. The clanking. We'd hear it again. And we're like, whoa. Then what we started doing is we'd start asking the inverse of every question, like the opposite of the question. So we'd say, and these are all very general questions, like, are you friendly? Do you want to talk to us? Are you open to having a discussion? That kind of stuff. And then we'd ask the opposite of that question. We would always ask, do you not want to talk to us? Do you want us to leave? And we did this intentionally, and I'll explain why. But we were getting very iffy answers in the beginning. Like, we only got 1 or 2 answers. It seemed like it was shy, almost. We're like, okay, this doesn't mean anything. We get 2 to 3 random answers. We come back the third night. This is a new night. Same thing. Sit in the bathroom. We wait for 2 a.m. Silence for the first 15 minutes, and then we say, is there anyone with us tonight? Literally 6 seconds later, we hear the clanking. It was the exact amount of time that it's always 6 seconds after is when we get our answer. So that was the first weird thing, is that it was so on point with timing. We're like, okay, sure. Then this is the first night that we brought up his name. And we said, is your name Jacob? 6 seconds later, ka-ching, we hear the metal sound effect again. And we're like, wow, okay, that was kind of odd. And then we said, is there anybody else here with you? Don't hear anything. Is your name not Jacob? Don't hear anything. Are you sure we're talking to Jacob? Clink, we hear the sound. So it's almost like we asked questions, the opposite of the questions, never got a response.
Were there ever any inconsistencies at all?
This is why I have to believe in ghosts, because no. Over 160 questions asked.
160 questions?
Yes, we have them all recorded, all 160. None of them contradicted each other. Not once. That's why I have to believe. And I'm so pissed because I don't want to believe in ghosts. But when they are consistent 160 times, I don't even know how to refute that.
Okay, continue.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
I know what you
fucking
mean.
bizarre.
I know what you mean.
So, and it's always the same sound. And here's where it gets weirder. We started noticing after we'd ask Jacob questions like about his life, like, did you work at the paper? Clink, clink. Were you a dancer here? Clink, clink. We'd always hear 6 seconds after. But as it approached 3 a.m., the answer stopped. We wouldn't get any more responses. And we started getting a weird, eerie feeling every time at around 3. Not sure why.
Well,
the fourth night we come back.
Oh my God.
We go in. We ask the same questions again. Jacob, are you here? Clink. Were you a dancer here? Clink. Same answers on cue, 6 seconds every goddamn time. This got so consistent that it felt like someone was fucking with us, and that somebody was like, ooh, I know these kids are ghost hunting. Let me like rattle the pipes and shit. And at first we thought, well, the only way that's possible is somebody's on the other side of this wall.
Oh my God.
So we're like, how do we get to the other side of the wall? We go out into the hallway. We go down to the hallway, and there is a door that leads into a closet that is the other side of that wall.
Are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely. Did you go in the closet?
Every night it has always been locked. This night it was unlocked. We open it, the door opens, just an empty storage closet. The group is sitting in the bathroom. I'm standing in the hallway monitoring that room. And we ask, Jacob, are you here? And we hear the clink sound, and no one is in that room to make that sound. So I know no person is making that sound. Okay. Then in that moment,
Oh, God.
me, Nathan, and somebody else looked down the hallway. Now, I didn't look at this moment, so I'm going off of the good faith of two other people.
Okay.
But two people looked down the hallway, and they both gasped for a moment. I'm like, holy shit. Why? Like, what did you see? And they go, we just saw like a blur, like a shadow blur move from one side of the hall to the other, way down at the end of the hall. Okay. And we're like, that's weird. Dylan at the time then took a picture like 2 seconds after that. He just snapped a photo. We walk down that hallway and we know what's down there. It's the dance studios, but they're always locked up.
Is it unlocked?
Well, we realized the door that the shadow blur moved to, it moved literally from the from the Point Park paper door where he would have done his work to a dance studio door.
Oh my
So the
God.
blur moved across the hall from one door to another. We're like, well, that's odd. Dylan turns his camera on, goes to that photo, and that was the first time we've ever photographed an orb. Was 2 seconds after seeing the shadow right down in the same hallway. So here's the thing. I don't believe in any of that. That to me, I didn't see that happen. So I'm not going to put that in our list of things that make me believe in ghosts.
I respect that.
But I can't dispute 160 answers. That's the one that like is freaky to me at my core. Here's another weird story. But no, all the dance studios were locked. So we were like, okay, that was weird. It's like he was leading us in there, but the doors were all locked. Every night we went down there, there was like something had changed. And I don't know if it was the maintenance coming in and forgetting to lock or unlock something. I'm sure there were people there. Who knows? That's not what I'm using as evidence. But every night we'd go down there and discover something new, and something would have changed physically about the space. So on the fifth night, we set a tape recorder up. We're in the bathroom. And we hear this high pinging sound. Ding, ding, ding. We hear it like 3 times. We're like, what is that? That doesn't sound like any of our clinking or clanking or anything. And then we go out into the hallway. We go down to where we saw that blur. And for the first time, the dance studio was open. We open the door into the dance studio. And in the back of the dance studio, there is a piano with the key cover open.
Stop.
And we're like, is that what we heard on the recording? So we play back the recording. We're like, I think that might be the high note to the piano. So we ran a test. We sat back down in the bathroom. I stood in the dance studio. I said, make sure you're rolling. And I hit the high keys on the piano to see if that was the sound. I go back into the bathroom, listen to the recording. Sounds identical to what it sounded like 15 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
So we do have pretty good confirmation that we heard those piano keys playing. It sounded like it was the same distance, the same amount of muffledness. And we're like, okay, that's really weird. That is starting to get to the point of like, is somebody messing with us? But the scariest thing for me is when we realized what was happening at 3 a.m. every night, or what we think is happening. So one night, this is night 5 or 6, we go down in the bathroom talking to Jacob. At this point, like every night when we get into the room, we're like, hey, Jacob, how's it going? Are you with us? We hear the clanking, like on cue every time. I mean, 160 questions sounds crazy, but it's not one every night you ask the same 15 off the bat just to get consistent results. And it's like, it's so weird that it was so consistent. Like it freaks me out that it was so consistent. And sure, it could have been random chance, but to be that consistent, the piano scares me. But I think the scariest thing.
Oh God. Night 6.
We're all in the bathroom. pitch black in a circle. So you can't even see your hand in front of your face, right? We have the recorder on. We have a camera on in night vision, so it can see, but no one else can. And in that moment, Johnny, who was with us at the time, she asks Jacob.
And by that, you mean physically. You don't mean alive versus dead.
No, I'm saying Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny was with you.
Our friend.
Yes.
Was with us.
Well, the way you said it was Johnny, who was with us at the time.
Oh, she's alive in real life.
Johnny's
yes.
a human.
Yes, Johnny is one of my friends who's alive. Almighty. Sorry, she hasn't passed. She was with us in the room. Asked Jacob, "Did you die here?" And I'll never forget this moment because this is the moment we have captured so clearly on tape.
Oh my God.
Did you die here? And all of a sudden, we hear all of the pipes rattle. All of them, like almost like the
shaking.
They all go. They all rattle for a moment. Nate got so scared. He leapt up out of his spot and yelled. And we're like, "Holy shit, what happened?" And I didn't even know the pipes were rattling at first until he jumped up, and then I could focus on the sound of the pipes. And we were in pitch black darkness, so we were terrified. And then all of a sudden, we got very close to 3 a.m. Johnny and Bethany start breakdown crying at the same time. Like almost tears. Like they just start crying. We're like, so I asked, at the time, Dylan asked Johnny, like, what's wrong? What happened? And I asked Bethany, like, hey, what's wrong? What happened? And then I asked Dylan, hey, Dylan, what did Johnny tell you? Both of them told us each separately the exact same thing that they felt at the exact same time without talking to each other first.
What did they feel?
They felt that there is just somebody staring at them so you know how we're in a circle? That there was just something like seeing into their soul in front of them, and they got this sick feeling in their stomach, and they just broke down crying after that. Like they just brought them to tears. And I'm like,
each of them
had
recounted
the same experience
completely separately.
Yes, and told us
at
two different people
at the exact same time.
Yes. So that was kind of weird to me. Again, that didn't happen to me, so I can't use that as evidence, but I can say that was fucking weird. Okay, then we did some research, and Nate was like, oh, I know about ghosts. Well, apparently in the ghost world, I don't know about this, who knows? Apparently there's a hierarchy of ghosts. Like, there are kind of like demons. Like, there's like a ranking of demons. So, like, there are some that hold power over others.
Okay.
What we started to ask is, hey, Jacob, at around 3 a.m., we noticed his answers were getting softer and softer, like more shy until 3. And they would just stop. Remember I said that there was a specific reason that time is important? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to tell you why. So at around 3, the answers started getting softer. And we were like, oh, that was so weird. Jacob, is there somebody else with us? And we hear the noise. And we're like, okay.
The marble noise.
Like the marble in the pipes. We're like, okay. Are you afraid to talk to us, Jacob? 6 seconds later. We'd hear the noise, but faintly, much fainter. Now it feels like a knock on the pipes. We're like, okay, Jacob seems to be afraid of something. And we said, Jacob, is that thing in this room? No answer. And then, so the way that the bathroom is set up is that there's the main bathroom, and then there's like an extension locker room. Mm-hmm. And we said, Jacob, is something else in the locker room? 6 seconds pass. We hear the marble noise, the clank. Jacob, what is in the other room? Do you not like what's in the other room? 6 seconds. We hear a response. Are you allowed to, we basically kept asking, are you allowed to speak around it? And the answers started getting faster and louder until, almost like you have to, it's nearing 3 a.m., you have to stop talking to me. What we've deduced is that there is another spirit who is in the bathroom or locker room that at 3 a.m. appears, basically enters this space at 3, and Jacob can't talk to us anymore. He's not allowed to speak out of turn. It's like this other thing has power over him. So his answers get softer and softer as the night goes on, and this other entity comes in, and Jacob won't talk to us anymore. And so the 7th night, we do our circle ghosts thing, but we do it in the locker room. And by the end of the night, 3 different people, 3, all threw up that night because of that feeling that Johnny and Bethany
And
had
y'all
in their
didn't
stomach.
like all go to eat pizza together
No,
beforehand or anything.
We started inviting more and more people to these things. So we had a group of about 10 by night 7, and 3 of the 10 all had sickening, wicked feelings in their stomach when 3 a.m. hit. Almost like it was trying to get us to get out of here. And the last thing that I remember doing is we would go in and we said, Jacob, do you want us to leave? Answer. A second later after we answer it. Jacob, are you sure? Do you want us to leave the space now? We got an answer again. We're like, okay, we need to respect Jacob. We're going to leave. We got up out of the bathroom. We're in the hallway. Standing in the hallway we go. We yell down the hallway, Jacob, one last time, are you sure you want us to leave? And remember how we had the whole pipe rattle before? Same thing again, the same sound that we've heard 2 times total. Second time was when we asked, are you sure you want us to leave, from the hallway? Almost like he was letting us know, because we were so far away from the bathroom. It's almost like he wanted to make sure we heard. So we left, and we just did not come back to respect his wishes. Never found out what that entity was in the locker room, that more evil, higher power entity.
So when you were researching, you didn't find out about anybody else who died or whatever?
We didn't, but I also mean we didn't ask Jake, like we didn't get the answers from Jacob. He would not answer any specific question about what that other entity was. He said it existed, and he was afraid of it, and he wasn't allowed to talk around us, or around it, but he wouldn't tell us anything about it. He wasn't allowed to, is what it seemed like. So all this sounds like horseshit to me, but the problem is I was there and I have all the answers recorded. We have all of those sessions on tape. We have the answers to a T. 6 seconds later, we have an answer. 6 seconds, an answer. Like, it's insane to me. Never once did it contradict itself. Not one time. And like I said, I'm not the one to believe in ghosts, but I can't dispute it. I can't. I feel like I was just given science, like factual science, like evidence of something, like proof of something. And I'm reading it and I'm like, well, this is what the scientists say is real. This must be true as fact.
What you're explaining
Isn't that weird?
Terrifying. And the fact that it was 100% consistent is the part that gets me.
That's the part that freaks me out. And honestly, like when you're ghost hunting, that kind of consistency isn't real.
No.
It's like, it's unheard of. And so I'm like, wow, this just must have been either a ghost or a crazy anomaly of coincidence. And I'm sure there were like a couple muddy answers of like, wait, was that the sound or was that another sound? And here's what really gets me. So to top off this whole story, that's the story. But to like really like nail it in that I have to believe in ghosts, what we try to do is we try to disprove every single bit of this story. So we try to replicate the pipes in every way possible. We went to the other side of the wall. We banged on the wall. We went upstairs to the floor above. We ran up and down the stairs. We used the elevators up and down to see if that sound we were hearing were the elevator cables going back and forth. We ran the washer and dryer was on the floor above, so we ran the washer and dryer machine to see if that was the sound we were hearing. No sound that we could create physically by ourselves ever replicated the sound of the marble dropping down the pipe. Right? We could never replicate it, no matter how hard we tried. And so that, to me, proved that it wasn't somebody messing with us. That it wasn't somebody running up and down the halls, having a wrench, banging on the other side. It wasn't any of that, because we tried so hard to prove that this ghost didn't exist, and we couldn't prove it. At the end of the day, we had more evidence to suggest that it does exist than it doesn't exist. And that's when I was like, I guess I have to believe in ghosts now. So that's my very odd, like almost calculated ghost story where we experienced something strange and tried to disprove it, but we failed. So we kind of had to believe. I've had other paranormal activity or paranormal experiences at Point Park as well, in different ways, but I don't know. It's possible that some things are just weird sometimes, you know?
Have you had a ghost experience outside of Point Park since? Because you've lived in a lot of places.
So, well, the first thing I want to say is I went back to that floor a year later. a year later at the same time, I went with somebody else
Oh my God.
to see if we could recreate Jacob. And I said, I talked to a ghost here like a year ago. Or no, it was a couple years ago. It was a couple years after. It was after I graduated.
Was this the first date?
No. It was a couple years after I graduated. I went back, or a year after I graduated. I went back and I tried to replicate the experience with somebody else just to see if like, oh, could we hear it? We sat in the bathroom. I said, Jacob, are you here? Is anyone with us? We didn't get a single sound all night. Not a single sound.
So you think he's gone?
And we didn't even hear the sound of the old clanking sound. We never heard anything remotely close to that. It's as if just couldn't happen anymore. Very odd. And I don't know if that's because Jacob went somewhere else, if he
or they fixed the pipe.
They fixed the pipe that was giving us odd, consistent ghost responses. If that other entity or like demon or like mean spirit kind of like edged Jacob out of that space. I'm not really sure, but we went at the same time, did the same thing, same questions, no responses. So to me, it felt like Jacob wasn't there. We recorded it. It just, the energy felt different. But to be fair, like, the energy felt creepy when we were talking to Jacob because we were psyching ourselves up. I mean, if you fucking hear a sound, like a response to a question, you get like, oh fuck, that was a lot. I never saw anything physically other than the orb in the photo. And I don't believe in orbs in photos. I just don't believe that. I never saw the shadow thing move. I think some of the experience definitely was like in our heads and we kind of added and exaggerated things. But the one thing I can't touch is the 160 consistent answers. And until I have an answer to that, why that happened, that's not ghosts. It's going to be ghosts in my head. So
wow,
that's my story, guys. I hope that was interesting.
Oh my God, that was intense.
Have any questions?
Any questions?
Is that your Tom Hanks as
Any questions?
Any questions? What's the character called?
Mr. Pumpkin?
No,
The SNL thing.
Something Pumpkins. David S. Pumpkins. David S. Pumpkins from SNL, played by Tom Hanks. Any questions? Yeah, that's what that is. Okay. Thanks for helping us figure that out.
I just think this is really interesting because, I know you. You don't believe any of this type stuff usually. Yeah. So it's really bizarre. The consistency. It's like you guys kind of approached it with a scientific method.
We had to. Because we had people who did believe in ghosts with us, like hardcore ghost believers. And then we had other people, like Kevin Svensson went some of the nights with us.
Does he believe in ghosts now?
No. It's like he's like, ghosts don't exist. So we had both ends of the spectrum ghost hunting together.
But was he scared or confused?
He was like, that's weird that you guys got that kind of consistency. But I don't think he believes in ghosts. I kind of I feel like I owe it to the proof to believe. But
so do you think ghosts are just like among us? Like you're just walking around and there are ghosts. Like where's
I don't
the
know.
extent?
Here's the problem. Other than this experience, I don't have any proof of anything else, and it's really hard to say. I don't watch the documentaries. I don't watch the TV shows, so I don't know. I don't even know how factual any of that stuff is because it's just people making shit up, I think. But
probably
it's hard to. I don't know. It's hard to define it. It feels very elusive to me. Mm-hmm. It's so abstract. It's odd. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm on that. I do have other stories. We cover those later.
So in conclusion, ghosts may exist.
Ghosts might exist, guys.
Or they could be aliens in another dimension that we can't see.
It could have been an alien impersonating Jacob.
Yes.
Probably
very
less likely.
Layered.
It's probably less likely, but hey, who knows? Anything's possible. Sorry we didn't have Juicy Q's this week. My ghost story took up a lot of time. Follow us on Twitch. We're going to start a gaming channel.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Oh my God. Let me do the outro.
Go for it.
Well, that was really fun. I think this was a great way to kick off October.
No, you don't have to do the sucky sounds. See, What is? What are you? What are? Is
it's
that
a bit now. You're welcome.
Is that supposed to be like a suctiony cup, like Cthulhu? Oh, you're trying to do fluttering.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Oh my god.
Think of a bird in your head. That's not bad.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, I think this was a great way to kick off October. Other updates that are happening. We're still working on putting the new MKHQ together. We're going to be showing you guys the whole thing, hopefully pretty soon. Lifeguarding video is in full swing, and we've got some more tricks up our sleeves for this fall. Had a couple meetings this week about upcoming episodes we're really, really excited about. So as always, thank you guys so much for your support, for your love. Leave us a like, comment, follow, subscribe, 5-star review. Super helpful.
I didn't plug my Instagram yet. Follow me on Instagram.
GK to 10K.
GK to 10K. Isn't that right?
Amazing. And we'll see you guys on our Twitch stream tomorrow.
Hi,
Thursday.
Mom.
And if you made it to the end of this podcast, congratulations. Mission accomplished. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya. Go surreal.